The Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derbies, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
Tyler Smace, long time no see.
Feels like we're just here a week ago.
It does. My how time goes so fast. Getting ready for the back half of our doubleheader, talking about Spring Explosion. We've got Trevor Dailey, Braden, Roger Hunter, and Ryan Shofner all going to be joining us to talk about their weekend. We've got all the results to get into. It has been a very, very busy week, but there's been some Derby periphery news that's happened here through the course of the weekend, and one of them that jumped off the page here as we were setting everything up for tonight, I saw Chris Williams is ranked top 30 in the country in wrestling.
Good for him.
From Valentine, Nebraska, which was pretty cool. It's no big deal, I guess, right?
He's
all in the line of business. He's been planning on this a long time.
Yeah, he's been working very hard. That was one of the things when we first met Sam. We learned about Christopher and his wrestling. Maybe two-time state champion. I'm not even sure. I know they were hoping, years ago when he was still putting on Blizzard Bash that Chris was going to be getting himself a scholarship and being top 30. Is that weight class or is that top 30 period? I assume top 30 weight class.
I think top 30 in the weight class. Yeah.
So I'm going to guess that's probably going to equate to a pretty nice whatchamacallit, full ride somewhere. So congratulations to him for that. That's a pretty big accomplishment.
And another sports career comes to a close. Should we not mention this?
No, we can talk about it. We can talk about it, man. I'm okay. I've come to grips. Yes, Zachary ended his senior season. This was, of course, is my son Zachary. It was touch and go. I honestly didn't think he would have a football season. I was kind of had my heart ready for the to be tore out and stomped on, and thankfully he did have a senior football season. He and his teammates had a great football season. They ended up 5-2. We lost in the semis and in sectionals. It was strange. The four of our seniors, leaders who really led the team, I actually coached them from flag football on. So I literally watched them grow from, some kids that were a little nervous about being waited for mom and dad to young men getting ready to start their life on their own. So it was amazing. I can't express the amount of pride I have in how hard Zach worked and the success he's had on the field and the young man he is off the field. We got a few sticks in the fires. God willing, he will be playing at the next level. We just haven't got the T's crossed and the I's dotted yet. So hopefully here soon we can take some of those cool sign on the dotted line pictures and get them out there. But proud dad, man. It was a hell of a ride. He'll be away at college next year, and Nick is going to be coming up through behind him, and Nick is going to be bigger and stronger and meaner. So it's going to be cool, man. I'm ready.
I saw some pictures of the celebration of life for Martin from over the weekend. Awesome garden unveiled in his memory, and
yep.
One of the wildest pictures from the weekend was Martin's nephew playing with his toy cars.
Yeah,
that was pretty cool.
Obviously,
certainly would like to have some better pictures to be had, but
yeah,
as we often hear, may the memories be a blessing. So that was very cool to see.
Yeah, I talked to both Jody and Jeremy a little bit, and they had a good time. I don't know if you saw the picture or not, but there was a picture of Jeremy with some blood running down his nose, and he got a little wide on the razor, but they definitely celebrated Mart's life, and that's great.
Until the next day, as the post said.
geez, I think it was Monday, Jeremy put up a post on the Team Martin page. And he kind of addressed, it was the first time he'd really, I believe, had come out and, address everybody in public. I mean, we talked a few times, and, they said they plan on carrying on with the fundraising, and his goal is $100,000 a year he wants to raise.
Fantastic.
Because obviously they've done so much. Like he said, this isn't a disease where the rich and famous, work for it, and it's pretty rare. So they want to continue doing that, and they want to be there for other families and help other families. So this is one that's really close to us as a Derby family. So hopefully we can raise or help them reach that goal for the foreseeable future, and on we go.
That'd be awesome. Well, the foreseeable future being lucrative, Trevor Dailey can kind of share in a little bit of that, I suppose. Trevor Dailey joining us online, part of the 4-man team coming away with the win at Spring Explosion. Trevor, how's that sound?
It's pretty good.
Tell us a little bit about the weekend. I mean, Spring Explosion is one of those marquee derbies. If you can pick up a win there, you've certainly done something. And your group of 4, a great team. Tell us a little bit about how the weekend went.
It started out good. Inspection was pretty fair. They beat me up on a couple things, but that's expected. Got through that, and then it was game on after that, I guess.
Well, that does seem to be part of it. You got to hustle to make it go. You were working with CJ Milton, Jeff Miller, and Darren Hill, coming away with the 4-man pro mod side of things. The feature, I think it was Brian in the last hour when he said something to the effect that there's no easy out, there's no easy path. The path to winning Spring Explosion is not an easy one. You had a hurricane to deal with in Ryan Shofner. Did the feature go the way that you thought that it was going to go?
Yeah, it actually went exactly the way I thought it was going to go. We're trying to, play the politic game, and we thought we had something going, and then we heard last minute it wasn't, and we just went with it and just played it out, see what was going to happen,
Did you guys have to deal with the torrential downpour monsoons they usually have at Spring X, or was the weather actually decent this year?
Saturday it just kind of sprinkled, drizzled a little bit. Other than that, it was a little chilly here and there, It wasn't terrible.
Usually we see pictures, and they are just, people are soaked, and the track is, it's rough. But, like you mentioned, it's Spring X is always a marquee show, and to take away a win from there is pretty big.
It's like Mother Nature it's no different than the Derby line, right? Mm-hmm. It's like you got your choice. We'll either give you crummy weather at Spring X or crummy weather at Metal Mayhem. And he's like, all right, give me the crummy weather at Spring X. So it rains like crazy, and then Metal Mayhem comes around and it pours.
Yeah. Yeah, both of those shows have had some rough weather, that's for sure.
The show as a whole, that was part of the Unified Point Series, so that allows all 4 of these drivers to take 10 points into the standings. Was that something that was on your mind? Were you looking at collecting checks and making a name for yourself, or was this a points run?
No. Our team here just like coming down to Spring X. We run a lot for Jack here in Michigan. We do a lot of figure 8 stuff. So it's kind of hard for us to get away to kind of follow that,
Tell me a little bit about yourselves and where you guys come from, because Michigan is a bit of a lost land. There's a handful of drivers that we know from up there, Jason Brodzinski and the Demels up in that neck of the woods. Bryson Valentine, he's a guy that runs a little bit more of the stocker stuff. I believe he's from up that way. There's a fellow named Parker that I've come to know that runs up that neck of the woods. Tell me a little bit about more what your home shows are like and what your background is in Derby as a whole.
I think my first Derby I started, I ran in 2005. I was 17 years old. I've been around it all my life. My uncle, done it all my life. And just as the shows around here, we just kind of, our team in general, just kind of run our hometown shows, and I think we do pretty good around here. Mm-hmm. we just decided, we've been going to watch Spring X, I think, since 2011 or 12, and I think in 2019 was our first time we went down as a team.
Do you guys run team shows at home, or are they mostly just on your own sort of?
We've had like a 3-man team show here that I won once on asphalt. Other than that, there really hasn't been much.
Gotcha.
These are just single events.
So you said you went down in 2019. So this is really only your second or third time running together as a 4-man team. To have this kind of success, that's got to make you feel pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's our second year as your second time running this with this team.
It's awesome.
How different?
I ran myself with Matt Songluski and Randy Dunkenberger down at the Wicked Show in October.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a little more experience, I guess.
Well, there's no replacement for seat time. That's for sure.
Right.
You start putting all this stuff together, and we talk about seat time and experience and the feather in the cap and stuff. How different is it coming back to Spring Explosion the second year? Taking your cars there the first time, I got to imagine there's a pretty steep learning curve when you're looking at the pro mod side of things. Just putting it together, just getting there, getting your feet wet. Coming back the second year, your level of preparation has got to be so much different and so much more intense the second time through.
Yeah, we kind of knew what to expect. The builds, Jack pretty much took from our Michigan builds here.
Okay.
Added a little bit to it, so we're pretty familiar with it. So yeah, we're kind of excited about that,
Well, anytime you can travel someplace else and have hometown rules, it certainly does make things a little easier.
Yeah, that definitely is nice.
Yep. Yep.
That's kind of one of the things that we talked about with Cody is with TJ's rules is you're allowed to build a car. It's not telling you where to do everything, so you can still get creative, and there's going to be a bunch of different theories, and we see that convergence when we go places like Blizzard Bash and Bash for Cash, where you have people from all over the place converging, and you've got that different build theory. Did you see a lot of that, given that the rules were adopted and sort of applied for Michigan? Did you see a lot of the same style build theory in the cars, or were things mixed up?
Everything was pretty close. There was some stuff, but nothing crazy.
Gotcha.
I think it's a really good set of build rules. Like running stock spindles allows the car to break, and, I heard a rumor they're talking about giving us aftermarket spindles, and to me, I think that the feature was the pace it was because of that, or, stock spindles. There's something to actually look forward to breaking, But you put aftermarket spindles, it's a lot harder to break the car, and that kind of slows things down,
Sure. Did any of your crew have issues with those stock spindles breaking? Anybody take bad hit?
Two of us bent them. I know that. A couple of us had tires leaning. But and actually one of our fourth guys lost two front spindles. So.
Oof.
That makes it rough.
You lose both of those. Yeah. The frame's in the dirt. The motor's in the dirt. You can't steer. It can make for a long night.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
What does the rest of your schedule for this year look like?
Not 100% sure yet. I know I've got a hometown show around here that I look forward to every year. This wagon with a little work, I think I can run it again somewhere. I just don't know where yet.
Sure.
Ain't really give it much thought. We've been busy in the barn the last 2-3 months. Kind of winding down now.
The amount of time that you had invested in the car, was that 2-3 months, or was that work related?
2-3 months in the car, I would say. Yeah.
You ever have 2-3 months in a car?
No. Sure haven't. Sure haven't.
It's always crazy where you hear these wild swings. Like some people have 6 months and some people have 6 weeks, and they're taken to the same show, and it's just like, man,
well, we've touched on it.
I have built a car to that caliber in 2.5 weeks. It's not fun.
We've touched on it. You go to a show like this, and so much of your build is rechecking because you don't want to go there and get taken out by something small and kick yourself in the ass for it afterwards. So I mean, it's it's making sure everything's right and then going back and making sure everything is right again. So there's these guys are they're pretty meticulous when it comes to building this stuff. I mean, you get to this level and it's it's an art form, that's for sure.
It's an art form.
Definitely.
What was your package? What was the combination that you brought out there?
Engine-wise?
All of it, front to back, rear ends, transmissions. What'd you have?
I had a 14-bolt with 40 spline axles. The engine was built by a guy up here, Tom Glazer. Just 355 dart heads. And that was a brand new engine going to that show, so I kind of didn't really know what to expect. It was good, I guess. It won. So.
Can't complain.
Yeah.
That's it always amazes me that we hear that. It's a new engine and I didn't know what it was going to do. Like, because there's so much that could go wrong. It might not like heat. It might not have the low end. It might like to run more RPM and stuff. Mm-hmm. The engines are they've got so much of their own personality that we hear that so often, and it's like, I mean, there's no way to get around that until you put a test run on it. And
yeah, for sure.
Why not go find the deepest water you can?
Yeah, jump right in. Well, it's funny. It's a little off topic, but like I said, my brother had run at Bristol last weekend, and most everybody that he ran against has raced somewhere this year. Mm-hmm. Well, the car he took was a brand new car. He put it together down to Dave Rogers' car. Fired it up.
I think I realized that was a new car.
Yeah.
I thought that was the Syracuse car.
No, it's brand new.
Okay.
2021. Motor and everything, brand new. It was. So Dad said my brother got it together and started it up, drove it out to the trailer, and they put it on the lift, and away it went. And the first time he got in and drove it was on the high banks of Charlotte or high banks of Bristol. So yeah, I mean, and it's no different. I mean, it doesn't matter what motorsport you're in. You're a little nervous when you test it that first time. Sure. So just got to go for it.
Absolutely. Well, is there anything that we might have missed, or anybody that you want to make mention of to help get you guys there and help make sure that you could pull off the win over there at Spring Explosion?
Just the team in general. For me, it was my cousin Dan. He was over here after work. Most of the time with me till midnight, sometimes 1 in the morning. Robin Ancotel, he ran on another team. We built the cars in the same shop. We lent a hand with each other's cars pretty much the whole time. Brother-in-law John Poolsolo, he was over quite a bit. Can't thank them guys enough.
Sure.
Everybody, a lot of guys had a hand in making it all happen throughout the whole weekend.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on it. And hopefully this is a sign of things to come for you guys. 2 years in and pulling down a win at Spring Explosion. There's a lot of team action to be found around the United States these days, and hopefully we get to see you guys in victory lane again soon.
Yep, sounds good.
Appreciate you coming on, man. We'll see you soon.
Yep, thank you.
Have a good one.
Now. There goes Trevor Dailey teaming up with CJ Milton, Jeff Miller, and Darren Hill to win the 4-man Pro Mod side of things at Spring Explosion. We're going to be catching up. What I'll do is I'm going to get Hunter on the phone and let him get everything put together because he's going to be doing some network calling. And we'll get everything up and running.
Chris is just going to direct.
What's that?
So you're just going to sit back and be the director.
Yeah, for a second, yeah. Spring Explosion was part of the Virtual Unified Point Series. The series started January the 30th at Wicked Derby's Redneck Rumble in Sturgis, and then it went on to Toast Granite City event April 17th, and now things are in full swing. April 24th and 25th. Is this Hunter? Hey, it's Chris. Do you wanna grab Roger, and then we'll bring you on? All right. Perfect. Just let me know when you're ready. So we just got done with Derby Icon Spring Explosion. As we said, there's quite the log jam in the point series. Once we get that settled out a little bit, we'll start putting the points tallies up there. We're going to move into Wicked's Urban Destruction in Evansville coming up April 30th and May 1st. Then we're going to go to Toast River City Rampage in Henry. May the 15th is going to be Hardcore's May Meltdown, Smash It's Bash for Cash, back-to-back with the Street Stock Madness on Memorial Day weekend and then June 5th and 6th. Then we're going to have back with Hardcore, Destruction on the Knob in Markleysburg on June the 12th. And then finishing out June will be Toast Bartholomew County Fair in Columbus and Rouse Promotions Wayne County Fair. Stay up to date online with the 527 Unified Series at 527unifiedseries.com. So we're going to be catching up with the two-man stock division team winners here in just a moment. Hunter, Braden, and Roger Hunter going to be working. They work together to come up with the win. Just waiting to hear if those guys have been able to get everything on. They're going to be in the process of driving to work this evening and then trying to get the phones to cooperate the right way. Up. So I'm hoping that this will pay off.
Hopefully, don't hear a loud crash.
Well, that would certainly be to the benefit. Just let me know when you guys are set.
We're set up now.
All right, perfect. So, those guys are all ready. Gypsy's Fab Farm is recognized as an industry leader in all manner of purpose-built demolition derby parts, starting with rear ends in 06. Gypsy's Fab Farm expanded to headers in 08, and the shop can boast a combined 70-plus years of mechanical skill. Jeffy's Fab Farm specializes in LS conversions and conversion components with consistent feature wins across North America. Your turnkey solution is only a phone call away. Jeffy's Fab Farm's Camry in a Box campaign sets you up with success with a retail price of $525. You need to make sure you ask about the multi-fit shifter options. You'll also find fuel and air parts, suspension and transmission items, steering components, pedal switches, and gauges. If you need it, it's on the farm, jeffysfabfarm.com. So we've got that all set to go. Make sure that this works. And all right, here we go. Hunter, Braden, and Roger Hunter on the line here. Guys, man, thanks for coming on the show, making some time for us. Congratulations on the weekend.
Thanks, and thanks for having us.
Absolutely. Tell me a little bit about it. I mean, this jumps you guys up into a share of the lead, I believe, for the Unified Point Series. It thickens the logjam up there at the top. It certainly changes the dynamic of things for you guys.
Yeah, it definitely does for both of us.
With all the team action that happens around the United States, then all the standalone stuff that you've got on that Unified Point Series schedule, is this something that you guys are going to be chasing either together or independently for most of the summer, see where you can get in terms of the point standings?
Well, honestly, this is the first time me and Hunter had ever run together. A buddy of ours was Brandon Easy. Me and him had entered, and he had to have knee surgery a week before the Derby, so Hunter stepped up, jumped in a car, and we pulled it out.
Well, take me through the feature a little bit. Tell me a little bit about what the two-man pro stocks were all about and how it played out in your favor.
We went out there with just all we were wanting to really accomplish that weekend was to make it out of the heat and everything, and we came out of the heat pretty clean and went out for the feature, and the ball just went to rolling, and everything came together for us.
Was there any point where you knew that it was yours? I mean, was it a case where you had both cars running and nobody steaming at the end of it?
Well, for a long time, I never realized that me and Hunter was the only two-car team. You know, both cars were still running, and they come out and told us that we had 5 minutes left to try to finish everything out. And I looked and seen how straight he was, and I had two front tires down, front bumper was up in the air. So I just figured I'd try to see who I could take with me, and hopefully he could pull the win out for us.
I understand that Hunter trying to pull the win out for you involved scoring some extra closer points, driving the second-place car almost through a wall until they threw the checkered flag or the white flag or threw in the towel, whichever way you want to describe it, at the conclusion of it, so ending things with a bang.
Yeah, that part was definitely an exciting ending for me and the car anyways.
Is there anything left of the car? I mean, it sounds like hitting a car through the wall might inflict a little bit of collateral damage on your vehicle too.
Yeah, it started to bend a little bit worse there at the end when I was hitting him up against that concrete wall, just because it was trying to shove him and that wall. But all in all, the car still wasn't hurt too bad. Once they got me out of the ruts, I was able to drive it back and, with a little help, get it put on the trailer.
That certainly is a fun way to end it. With going in with essentially a je ne sais quoi attitude to it, to being able to finish it with a thunderous conclusion like that. That's got to feel pretty good.
Yeah, it definitely did.
So I understand now. Is following the point something, Hunter, that you're looking to do?
It all depends on how this weekend goes for me. I'm in the process right now. I'm actually at the shop trying to get my redneck rumble car put back together to be able to run urban instruction this coming weekend. And however that may go will depend whether I try to chase the point series or not.
So Mark Elliott told me to ask this. I'm going to preface it that way. I understand that your aunt is Jody Braden.
Yes.
So that would mean that potentially you could have to duke it out with Don Santel if you got too close in the points?
I don't know how that would work, but I'm sure that they'll never come to that point. So I'm probably not going to face all these races out in Pennsylvania and everything.
Just having some fun with that. I was like, I don't know if this is where we need to go.
I had a pretty good idea where that one was going.
Well, I think it's awesome that you guys were able to basically jump in. What happened to the buddy that had to have the knee surgery?
He was there. He was there cheering us on and working on everything, but he just had some bad luck, which caused us to have some good luck. So it was a fair exchange on our side of it.
It sure sounds like it. I mean, that. Does he still get cut into the money?
Oh, yeah, he'll get his cut, I'm sure. Yeah, he definitely is.
That's cool.
That's a good teammate. Good deal. With this for you, Roger, is this something that you're going to be running this weekend as well at Urban?
No, I'd say if I run anymore, it'll be just a couple hometown shows.
Yeah.
To be honest, that's only my second Derby back in 10 years.
Wow.
Really? What was the layoff?
I've been in and out probably 5 or 6 times, and the buddy that got hurt, I used to run with his dad. He called me up here for a local show, wanted me to run with him. So a show that Ty Richards was putting on, and we went and ran it, and I won it. He called me the next week. He said, "Well, you're on the roll. We're going to go run Spring X." I thought, "Oh." So it worked out.
That's cool.
What did you guys have for cars?
I had a 92 Lincoln.
We've heard good things about those.
Yeah, they're all right.
Lincolns. Yep, they do okay. And Hunter?
Yeah.
What did you have? Same thing?
I wasn't there on the track. I was traveling for work. I think I was in Michigan that weekend.
Oh, okay.
But it was Brandon Easley, who was supposed to be his teammate, one of my best friends.
I got you. All right.
And
Interesting.
he was in I don't know what it was, but a 75 or 6 Impala. I'm pretty sure. I think you meant what you had a Spring X.
That's correct.
Oh, I thought you said I was in a 87 box Ford.
Did you 87? Did you frame swap that or no?
No, you're not allowed to change any of the body bolts for that race.
Gotcha.
I didn't realize that was a rule for that division.
Frames. Look at this, Chris, man. He's got into the world of building and I-Line Derby. He's frame swapping this and add that bolting here, and he's about building them.
I don't know about that. Let's not get crazy. No, but I was very excited to see that you guys came away with that, and now to know a little bit more of the background on it. That's even cooler. That's very interesting, guys. I'm happy to hear that. That's a good win. All right. Just kept trying to keep an eye on things. I'm so thrown off doing the second show. The clock's wrong. Oh my god.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It's certainly thrown off. Is there anybody that you guys wanted to make mention of that helps you get through Spring X this year?
Yeah, I got to throw a couple names out there. Milo Card, Danny Easley, Kyle Crippen. They were them guys helped me build the car in the shop. Carl Klumpke, that's the motors that were in the car. Them things, they ran great all weekend. And of course, Brandon Easley for basically I ran his whole setup. So I got to thank them guys for sure.
Awesome.
Yep.
How about you, Hunter?
I also want to say big thanks to Brandon for giving me the opportunity and trusting me with his equipment to go out there and run that race. And make a bunch of memories that I'll never forget. And other than that, obviously, I didn't have a whole lot of time in that car because he had it basically done. But I can't thank all my friends and family that were there to help me in the pits and getting that thing put back together and getting me up there to the race and the week before getting everything loaded.
Fantastic.
Very cool.
Well, man, I sure do appreciate you guys making some time. I know you got more work to do, getting ready for Urban this weekend. Wish you the best of luck, and maybe we'll be having another conversation like this in a week.
Thank you. I hope so, too.
Good luck, guys. We'll see you later.
Have a good one, guys.
Thanks.
There goes Hunter Braden and Roger Hunter won the Spring Explosion 2-man pro stocks, and basically, as they said in their words, they just happened to be a team that weekend.
That's cool.
That was pretty cool. That was very good. We're going to be getting with Ryan Shofner here in just a second. Wanted to take a minute to tell you about some of the other events that you're going to be seeing on the Unified Point Series. Bash for Cash 2021 is on the schedule. Memorial Day weekend, the 28th through the 30th. Additional details online at smashitderby.com. It's at the Ross County Fairgrounds in Chillicothe, Ohio. Kicker class, $10,000 to win. Turn back the clock class, $10,000 to win. Compacts and Pro Stocks, also $10,000 to win. $2,000 to win for the standalones. Frank the Tank, old school wire class. That's the headline on Saturday. Youth small cars, street stocks. The relic class is 63 and older this year. 3 one and done, 80s wire cars, super stocks, full-size trucks, and the compact trucks. All of that at Bash for Cash 2021. And just as soon as they put the final touches on Bash for Cash, they get ready to gear up for Street Stock Madness over at the Fayette County Fairgrounds in Washington Courthouse, Ohio. Gates at noon both days. Derby at 6 on June the 5th. Derby at 3 on June the 6th. 4-man teams, taking 20 teams, 6,000, 3,000, 1,600 the payout through the top 3. Pro Stocks, 40 entries, 4,000, 2,000, 1,000 the payback through the top 3. Full-size street stock, compact street stock, minivan, mini SUV, mini trucks, 30 per class on those standalones. 1,000 to win for each. Additional details online at smashitderby.com. We already walked you through the schedule for the virtual Unified Point Series, the Hardcore Tour. They've got some dates on there. They're going to kick it off. The first date for the Hardcore Tour in Pennsylvania, May Meltdown. It's Frankie Guy's group. The May the 15th May Meltdown in Stoneboro is going to be on the schedule, along with the Destruction on the Knob in Markleysburg, June the 12th. The schedule then moves to Mayhem on the Mountain in Farmington, and then 3 events through July: Destruction on the Knob in Markleysburg, King of the Hill at Jacktown Fair, and Destruction in Dunbar, August 29, August 3rd, and August 6th. August 13th is Chaos in Cole County at the Greene County Fair in Waynesburg. August 14th and 20th is Washington Warzone, Washington, PA. The 4th and 5th of September, that's Labor Day Lockdown, Stoneboro. Then the 7th and 8th of September is the Route 40 Rumble in West Alex. That all feeds into the 2021 Hardcore Championship, September 25th and 26th. That's the final confrontation in Dunbar. $10,000 to win. Jeffrey's Fab Farm presenting a $3,000 Mad Dog Award. You can stay up to date with all of it. HardcoreDerbyPromotions.com. All right, we did that. And our final one before we get Ryan Shofner on the line, Smith Metalworks, all-purpose fabrication shop, big part of the Hardcore Tour. They've taken the Northeast by storm. Smith Metalworks features more than 40 years of grind metalworking experience. The hallmark of the product line is the pointed and flat front bumpers, replicating popular factory releases. They can be stuffed or run hollow. There's also a compact version of the pointed bumper. The Super Stock bumper is a winner front to back. You can't go wrong with that. Other items include Crown Victor skins, battery boxes, engine mounting systems, pedal combos, and shifters. The shop offers all the odds and ends, such as distributor clamps, weld-in centers. Be sure to ask the GM floor liners, because everybody knows GMs get rusty. In-person locations for pickup are Mercer, Uniontown, and Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. They can also ship it. Jump online, smithmetalworks.info. There's all of that stuff. So we're almost there.
How's it going, Chris?
We're doing okay.
You sure?
It got quiet in the chat. We lost TJ. TJ was riling everybody up, and as we shifted gears, everybody sort of just settled in. I know right now, I think Marty Sager was in the chat. Lee Sager's running some online derby stuff tonight.
I see he was in the hospital.
Lee was?
Was it Lee or Austin? One of the Sagers was just in the hospital.
I didn't think Lee was. Maybe. I don't think I missed that, but wow.
I can't remember. Now you have me wondering who it was. Maybe one of them's listening and would tell us, but
I hadn't come across that.
Yeah, because they were just talking about who was going to Derby this weekend, because they were talking about they're out of work till the 30th, but the Derby's on the 1st.
I couldn't tell you for certain. I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember. I just saw it just before I came down here tonight.
I mean, Lee's doing a lot of stuff on on the streaming side of things. That's his full-time job. That's what he does. So I don't really know if you necessarily.
Well, it couldn't have been him then. Austin, maybe?
Hey, Ryan. Let me put you in. And Ryan Shofner joining us here. Ryan, man, how are you?
Good.
Well, I have been looking forward to this conversation because the stories coming out of Spring Explosion have me hearkening back to Steve Siopa's Army of One effort. At Blizzard Bash, you had everybody all over you, and the driving exhibition that you put on to help get that team down to second place was awesome. I was hoping to get some of your thoughts on it because it sounded great.
It was stressful, but a lot of fun. I've been to pretty much rely on my equipment and go into survival mode there just until pretty much outlast as many cars as I could.
It was Austin. We got the confirmation on that. It was Austin that was sick over the weekend. So, Ryan, man, take me through exactly what happened. We had a little bit of the insight there. We were talking with Trevor, said that there was some deals that were made, then the deals were off, and you guys went out. You were down a car when you guys went out for the feature?
One car, he ran steel braided transmission lines, and they actually arced out on the battery and burned a hole in the lines. So he burned up reverse in the transmission during the heat. So he only went out there with forward drive in the feature, and he only lasted about 5 minutes before he burned up forward gear. So we were down to 3 pretty quick.
So then what happened?
It was, so before the heat, or before the feature, pretty much every team in the feature kind of came up to us and wanted to run with us. So we kind of just played the politics game and kind of stayed away from everyone, didn't want to start any fights, and just kind of watched everything unfold until the other two, the Michigan teams, decided they had to take us out, and then it was on from there. Then we just had to do some driving.
I heard the count at one point was 7 cars going after you at one time.
Yeah, I think that's how much it was. I don't know.
What did it feel like?
It felt like a lot.
You said you just had to rely on the equipment. Is it tough to keep your composure when you're going through something like that? I mean, obviously the cards and they're not exactly falling the way that you want them to. The dominoes are falling every different direction. Is it tough to keep your composure in that situation?
Yeah, it's hard, especially in the team shows when there's a lot of holding. You know, you can't go forward because there's a car holding you forward, and you can't back up because you're just 20 feet away from the wall, and you know if you back up, that car's going to pin you in the wall, and then as other teammates, you're just going to beat your wheels in. So trying to stay away from the walls and actually using the other cars beating my sides in to get out of predicaments, and just praying that my wheels are going to stay up and stay straight every wheel shot that I take, trying to get out of those spots.
Man, and remember, this was all with those stock spindles, right?
Yeah. See, that's why, like, I got a situation like that, and I would just be holding that thing wide open and figure, well, I'm going, someone's going with me. So, you know, hats off, man. I when we watched Steve do it out in Topeka, I mean, I had the same comments, man. I'd be picking 1 or 2 guys out, and they would be coming with me. But, you know, obviously, great job driving, great job keeping your composure, man. That's you know, that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, thank you. And when I did get free, I made sure that as many cars paid as I could make them, you know, nosing people every time I got to run on someone and just doing as much damage as I could.
Absolutely.
I ran stock old iron GM spindles, and it actually snapped one in half when it came down to that 7-on-1. But it didn't affect me a whole lot because of how I had the front suspension set up. So I was still able to, you know, keep the car moving and turning where I wanted.
You talked to Jesse about any of that? Maybe getting that adapted for other uses?
I haven't yet. It makes those frees in the game a lot nastier.
the other two cars that you had out there, what happened to your teammates?
Tyler, he had I think the bearings in the spindle kind of blew up, and then the wheel fell off, and
Oof.
it kind of dug into the ground, so he couldn't go anywhere. And then Luke broke a tie rod. He misjudged a hit, and he drove on top of a car instead of driving it into the back of it, and it broke his tie rod, and he couldn't get the car to move around with those wheels facing opposite ways.
The pictures that I've been following along, it looked like there was a bunch of Ford products. It's a bit of a change from preference, isn't it?
Yeah, quite a bit of change. We're used to running old iron in stock shows, and now we're running new style Fords and weld shows. And that was actually my very first new style Ford, and it's an 03 on top of it. So it was quite the learning experience, but I really liked the build.
What were you allowed to do to the frame in the Pro Mod 4-man teams?
So we get a 14-inch 3/8 bumper bracket placed anywhere from the bumper to the most forward part of the arm
Okay.
bracket. And then being an 03, I was able to weld in a steel cradle.
I gotcha. That being the case, it's not like you got a bunch of top seam welding or anything like that going on, or a bunch of crazy plating happening in there. When you're taking those hits from the side, you're not just worried about the wheels necessarily. You're also worried about the sway. The sway is something that you see the shot put on the edge of the bumper, and it swings the frame left and right. It happens to the back, and it can make the Fords bend all kinds of funny, and it can really screw things up in the front when you're up against the wall and getting hit like that. Were you concerned at all with that front starting to shift left and right versus just up and down?
I was a little bit, but going into the feature, I had 8 patches on to stop that sway of the frame.
Mm-hmm.
And these rules were a little unique. We were allowed to pressure the engine cradle straight into the front bar of the cage. And so a lot of people are wanting to think, pressure that as hard as you can into the cage. But I've been watching videos of these 03s in stocker shows, and you can see the front ends are flexing at the hit, but they're not bending.
Right.
So on the back of my DP, I had 1.5 inches of rubber, and I pressured that into the cage. And then I was watching video last night of the feature, and when I was making those front end shots, I could watch the front end of that car flex, but it never truly bent.
Interesting.
So that was also a strategy to allow bending where I wanted to absorb the shock, so other areas of the frame didn't take all that abuse.
That's pretty neat.
You did that when you built your Ford for Seneca County, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. I was all about that.
That's interesting. It almost sounds a little bit like the '70s shockers, the way they'll flex and they'll come back for a little while. I mean, it's not a.
Eventually they go whoop. Yeah, you're
eventually
right.
the bumper goes up over the top of the throttle linkage, but
Yeah.
for a while it'll do that. It'll almost have that recoil effect. You make the hit, it comes up, and then it comes back down to where it needs to be. Is this an 03 trick, or did you adapt this trick from something else?
I learned that talking to a few guys local that run 03s, and they say to allow flex or another part of the frame is going to take all that abuse, especially with the plating that we had.
Right.
That's the thing. I mean, unless you unless you plate your frame, box it in and, weld your this to that and pressurize this, something's going to bend. It's going to find the weakest part. So, I mean, what he did by putting the rubber in there, I mean, he got it to flex where he wanted it to flex, and it was letting the hard parts stay hard and stay straight. I mean, that's an incredible idea. I mean, those guys have really, they've hit on something there. That's a hell of an idea.
Did anybody else on your team do that?
I think Luke had a little bit of rubber in his, but he pressured his in before
Yeah.
we got that idea. And that's kind of what turned me away from running 9802. I made the last-minute decision to run an 03 because the bumper bracket had to be on top of the frame, so I was worried about the spring pockets on 9802s, and that's where a lot of them bent that weekend.
The bumper bracket had to be on top of the frame.
Yeah.
Ew.
That's interesting.
How tall was your bracket that was on top of the frame?
It was 14 inches long and I think 4 inches wide.
Oh, so it wasn't excessively tall. It's not like it was. I mean, like, around here, when you say that you're putting stuff on top of the frame, people are just putting the whole shock on and burning it in.
Yeah,
obviously that's
no
not
doubt.
the case with spring explosion. But still, I mean, you start thinking about where that height and how tall. I mean, you use something that's too thick, even though it's just plate.
Physics,
it's going to make that flex point right behind there. And I'm really impressed with the rubber stopper, so to say, the cork, to make sure that the bottle didn't pop.
Yeah, that's a hell of an idea.
Is this something that we're going to see more of? We're going to see more 03 Fords coming out of the Shofner shops?
Yeah, I think so. I was pretty impressed this weekend with it. I didn't really get a good judge of it during the heat, though, because I went up pretty early. I burned up the transmission and put a new transmission in that morning of the feature. And so I really didn't get to bend the car a lot, so I had it 2 plates on before the heat because I didn't. I passed inspection first try. Mm-hmm. So you get 2 plates fresh and then 6 more after the heat. So I'm running a fresh plated 03, and I really didn't get to see where it was going to bend to the rules.
Sure. Where do those plates go if you got a fresh 03?
I put them right between the A-arms. Yeah. Right in the middle of the A-arm brackets.
Probably not a bad spot.
Yeah, that sounds like a good spot.
I was actually recommended by Toast if I get my plates to put them there, so I figured he knows a little bit more about building these than I do as of right now.
Yeah, if Toast gives you tips on where to put stuff like that, it's probably a good idea to listen to. He's sort of well known, as a builder, so can't go wrong there.
Definitely knows a little bit more about these than I do.
That's cool.
Were you guys allowed to? I mean, you were talking about the 98-02 and you were talking about the 03 frames. It sounds like you were able to do, with the Pro Mod rules, you were able to do some frame swaps and some body swaps. What body did you end up putting on top of that frame? Did you go with the 03 style body?
Yep, just kept the factory 03 body that came with the frame.
Nice.
Former police car?
Yeah, it was a 2010 police car.
2010.
It's 11 years old, man. It's time to be junked. What you gonna do?
2010. Not exactly 19 anything there.
Well, you got to figure. I mean, as a cop car, it probably had a couple 100,000 miles on it. You gotta retire him, man. We gotta keep him safe.
A wise man once told me that there's no prouder way for a car to find its end than a demolition derby.
Very true.
Nope.
Very true.
Where are you guys headed next? You going to be making the trip over to Urban?
I think Luke's going to be over there filming. I'm not sure if I'm going to come out and watch or if I might stay in the garage and fix the front suspension on this 03. We might be going to a show in Iowa in a couple weeks with these cars. Mm-hmm. Not real sure yet. They might be adding a class. If they don't add a class, we won't be running them for a while. And then our first show will be our hometown fair here. It'll be the 100th year of the Marshall Putnam Fair.
And how many times have you guys won that fair as a family?
Oh, I have no idea.
Good answer.
I think the past 5 years, I've won it 4 out of the 5 times, and Bob Whitaker won it a couple of years ago.
He's pretty good at derbying, too.
He does okay.
Yeah, he's all right.
I remember talking to you about that fair and just the lineup of cars you guys used to bring and the pictures of the trailers and stuff and all the family cars lined up out front. You guys going to bring a full fleet like that again?
I'm not sure about this year. It'll be me and Luke will be running for sure. I'll be bringing another Suicide Lincoln, and I'm not sure what Luke's building yet. I don't think he's really decided until last minute.
Well,
it's not worth doing if it's not worth doing last minute.
Yep.
So you've got Toast advice and you've got Brian advice. There's some that you should listen to and some that you shouldn't. Well, awesome. I'm very impressed. I'm glad everything went well over there at Spring X and for you guys, and I wish you the best of luck at home. 100th anniversary of that fair. It would sure be a nice one for you guys to bring home.
I hope so. It'd be nice.
Let's see. I'm thinking ahead. Is any of you guys going to make the trip over to Bash for Cash?
I'm not sure yet. We usually don't.
I know, not with cars. I'm just wondering if you were going to come and watch it, hang out.
I'm not sure yet. We'll see if Luke goes down there and films or not. We might run down there and watch. It's usually a good show.
It sure is. Well, if you could make the make the chance to make the trip over, I'll stop by and say hi. Be looking forward to seeing you guys.
Definitely.
For sure. Well, keep in touch as we work through the rest of the season. I know you guys generally put together a pretty busy summer between Luke filming and running all over the place. So wish you the best. Anybody else that you want to make mention of? The rest of the team, rest of the folks that helped get you there?
Yeah, I just got to thank the team. My brother Luke, of course, and Tyler Hofstetter and Justin Loggy. Everyone kind of did their job this weekend to get us this result. And I got to thank my parents, of course. I got to give a special shout out to Brody Rumbold. He was pretty much our our fifth teammate.
Right.
Through this show. He was there for the build right when we started and right up till the end.
Awesome. You guys stay safe, travel safe, and we look forward to catching up with you soon, man. Thanks for coming on the show, and congratulations on a good spring explosion.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You bet, man. We'll see you soon.
Good one, bub.
You.
There goes Ryan Shofner. Team finishing second in the spring explosion festivities. What do you think?
I think we've done 2 shows in one night.
We did.
That's a newbie.
It's
I mean, we've had some shows that could have felt like we were there for 2 days, but this is our first 2 shows in 2 hours.
Yes, it's a lot of talking.
A lot of talking, man.
A lot of talking. I think we've come to our end. We've covered all of our bases. We put together I think it was like 61-minute show and a 51-minute show. I think we'll be able to call it good right here. Any parting thoughts?
Nope. Just get out and enjoy the good weather, the loosening of the restrictions in our state for sure. I think some other states are leading the way. So, like I said, man, I'm going to say my Memorial Day weekend we're going to see things open up pretty good. So I'm sticking by it.
I'm hoping that you're right. I like all of it. I like the sounds of it. That's going to do it for us here for the second time this evening. That's going to do it for this edition of the Crash Course. We'll see you right back here next Monday. We'll see you then.
The Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirring Dirt Racing, host of Maymania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirringdirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.